Here we are once again, Clark, live in the tasting bothy. Tonight
Hello.
you've shared a couple of drams with me from Aerstone,
Right.
William Grant and
Yep.
Son. We've got the
Yes.
land and the sea, and
We've
we're
got
going to
land
start
and
with the
sea.
sea cask. Is that right?
We are. We're going to do that. We did have a wee chat about this beforehand and decided that we didn't want to do the smoky one first.
Well, I had to agree with you though. I think if we went down the smoky route first, our palate would have been full of
Smoky.
charcoal and everything else that it was, and then we probably wouldn't have been able to taste anything that was coming out the sea cask anyway. Uh,
Right.
So yes, I'm looking forward to this. It's nice to do two wee
Yep.
drams in the same night, but since we've got the Airstone, it was good to be able to compare the two of them side by side and see how
Okay,
they
so,
go. So both
yeah.
10-year-olds, I believe, Clark, is that right?
Yeah, they are both 10, that's right.
Okay, so
Both 10.
that'll be good. And they're I don't know where the distillery is that this comes from. I think it's in the Ayrshire coast somewhere.
I don't know. I don't know. I was trying to have a look at that as well, but I don't see it anywhere. It just says it in
I
Scotland.
believe that the sea cask, Clark, is kept in warehouses on the coast of Ayrshire. That's the reason why it's called the sea cask, because it's
Yes.
on the coast, and it's the sea air
Yes.
from that actually gives it its distinctive taste. I believe that's
Yeah, that's
the
right.
case with it.
The only thing it says about it is it's a lowland, right? So that's all. That's the only clue we've got to where it comes from. Yes, it would appear that the difference between the land cask and the sea cask is where they've stored them to mature.
And
That
they
seems to be
stored
the
them.
only
Yep.
difference. Right,
Right.
one's sitting at
Well,
the sea and
uh,
one's inland.
the other two other things that I can see from it is obviously that land cask quite smoky. So I'm presuming that the casks that they're matured in are slightly different to get that,
No,
because I
no, there's
can't believe that having it next to the coast makes it any less smoky than the. I mean, I know there should I think there is a bit of a smokiness with those, but we'll get there. So
no, I don't know. It doesn't say where they are. It doesn't say what kind of cast they're finished in.
it's a lovely light golden colour, Clark. I'll tell from the start. I mean, it's quite viscous as well. It looks quite oily as it runs down the glass.
Aye, that's right. Not many legs at all, as you usually like to point out. Not many.
So we'll get a wee
There's
nose of this, can we?
a few running down there. There you go. Yes, let's get a nose in here. Good.
Oh, it's very light, very light.
It's very light, aye.
Do you know? You can tell it's a lowland malt. It's got floral,
aye,
that floral
I
note
can
to
do.
it.
Aye. That's right, it is very florally.
It's
Yes,
quite
it is, aye.
reminiscent. I remember you giving me a rose bank many years ago,
It must have
and
been.
it's got that floral note that comes from the rose bank. Oh, I like that. Very subtle though.
Well, it is very subtle, aye. Aye, it's not punching in the nose, this one. It really isn't.
No, no, no. There's a wee kind of, I don't know, woody nuttiness to that. Oh, I like that. Bit of creamy
I see
vanilla
what
in
you're
there
saying,
as well.
I see what you're saying, aye.
Bit of vanilla in the background. That makes me want to just have a slurp at me.
Well, that's usually what happens.
I know it is. It's got that jasmine floral note to it. It reminds me very much of uh,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
the Japanese malt whiskies that I've got. We've got one again. One that I have here at home is the Chitta, the
Yeah.
Yamazaki. It's very much like those on the nose. I quite like them. Very light.
I know what
I let you know them.
Aye.
Anyway, we'll have a wee
This
a
is it.
wee a wee tasty. Slange.
Right, cheers.
Oh, Oh, it's quite sweet, Clark.
It's really quite sweet. Aye, it's a mouthful of flowers, isn't it?
Yep. It's got that wee. There's a kind of gentle vanilla for the oak casks. I wonder if this comes from a virgin oak cask, like an American oak or something. It is very light.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite distinctive in its flavour.
Mm-hmm.
Scotch sweet, and it's that sweet, light gentleness that you get from, you know, a virgin oak type cask that you would get for Deanston or somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice and light.
Maybe I do the sea Deanston now.
It's not very complicated at all. It's just it's a nice straightforward dram, Clark. It's very subtle on the nose. There's nothing. There's no anything I would say was kind of distinctive about it that would make me, go, oh wow, that the nose does this. It doesn't blow me away.
Mm-hmm.
Neither does the the actual palate of it. The taste. It's a nice dram. And
nice,
finish wise,
a nice gentle warmth.
it just sits on your tongue. I would say it's not what I'd necessarily call a long finish.
No.
It just kind of sits there on your palate. It's no. There's a wee, like you're saying, there's a wee warmth that sits there just at the back of your throat. Doesn't burn down into your chest. And
yeah, it's a nice flowery kind of.
there's a sweetness that comes from it like that. I just don't know what I'd class that as. No, it's not that honey sweetness that you sometimes get. Like a mead or something. It's I don't know how I would describe the sweetness of that.
Mm-hmm.
That's not bad.
It's a nice wee dram. It's a nice wee dram. Aye.
Hmm.
We've had better and we've had a lot worse.
Yes.
It's a nice dram. It's just nice, aye.
Yes.
Aye. Right, Bonnie.
I'll set that one aside and I'll head for my other one. It's a wee bit darker, Clark. Sorry, I've picked up the land cask.
It is, aye.
I've picked up the land cask.
Aye.
I think the difference in this is, as I've said, casks are more stored inland rather than on the coast, which gives it the.
That seems to be what they're saying, that the only difference between one and the other is where it's warehoused.
I know, and I kind of struggle with that because I've just nosed it, and I can't believe that. And if it is, I mean, it's really strange that you can take a cask and you can put it by the seaside, and you can get something that's not as smoky as that. I mean, the nose is completely different. Completely different from where we had that
it is.
sweet floral note to it. This should slap you in the nose. This is
not nearly as light.
When I served my apprenticeship, at Scotch Tar Distillers, where they made pitch and bitumen for the roads, and that's got a right tarry note. It's got a right tarry note to it.
I see what you're saying, aye. I see what you're saying. Good.
It's got that note. The other thing this is the kind of thing that evokes in my head. Being away, you'll not maybe get this because you didn't go fishing like I used to go fishing, and we'd be away all night and we'd have a bonfire, and then in the morning when we were leaving, we had to pour the water out of the bonfire to make sure it was out before you left, and it's got that nose as if we just poured the water out of the bonfire, and it's all the steams came up, and you've got that. That's the image it evokes for me. Well, I like this one. I actually prefer this to the nose of this one to the nose of the first one. for all these kind of images that that's coming up in my head when I'm sniffing that. Surely that can't just be these casks can't be the same. Surely,
it really is hard to believe that. That is nothing like the other one. Nothing like it at all.
If those casks are the same, that's genius. That's genius that you can have two identical casks, put one beside the seaside, and it brings in the sea air and the saltiness and everything else that you get that you would expect at the seaside, and you bring this inland, and it's like oh, that's lovely.
It's like
I'm fairly nosy this.
It's like camping.
So,
this is like camping. This is your bonfire smoking and some rubber off the lilo.
Well, but it's also got a citrusy zesty note coming through it. It's like you've put lemon on the barbecue. You know, I put a lemon on the barbecue and just let the. Oh, I'm fair taken with this, Clark.
Good. There you go.
Right. Wee sippy
thing. I was thinking the first one would be the best one to you. There you go. Let's have a taste. No, we've not tasted it yet.
No. Again. Well, that's lovely. Oh, Clark. Oh, I love that. That's nice, eh? You get that big bang right at the start of peat, and then you're left with this woodiness, this woody campfire note to it.
Yeah.
And there's a wee hint of ginger or something in there because that spiciness, and it's sweet.
It is sweet, aye. It is, aye.
And I've now got a mouthful of smoke, and I've never been a smoker or whatever else, so I've never experienced what that's like. But I've now got just this mouthful of smoky salmon, like having a mouthful of smoked salmon in my mouth. That smokiness you get for a finish with having had a smoked salmon or something in my mouth. That is just I'm fair taken with that, Clark.
Yeah. I don't know how we'd find out what the difference is between it. Can't it just be they've put it somewhere else? There must be more to it than that. Because it's nothing like that one. They're nothing like each other.
This is one of these ones where I think I would like to write to them and ask them, tell us more about this, because there has to be more than you've got. They can't be in the same casks. Definitely can't be, Clark. Surely you can't.
Don't taste anything I like at all.
Unless, the only thing that I can suggest is, unless somehow, when they use this cask and they put it by the sea, that the sea air somehow penetrates that cask and takes the smokiness and everything out of the wood that's there.
I don't know.
You'd have to start. You'd have to start with this cask, and then put it at the seaside to get the subtle lighter influence. Because you couldn't take that cask and make it peaty the other way around the boat by bringing it inland. So I think you have to start with this cask and take it to the seaside and let it sit, and somehow that dilutes the strength of. Because this is completely different. This is lovely.
You would never guess it was the same.
And I think this is going to reflect in my scores.
See, I think I quite like that, but I think I prefer the subtleness of the first one.
Oh, well, see, I've kind of went down that peaty route recently. Collila's my favourite, and I like a Bunnahabhain, and you know why I like Ben Romach. because Ben Romach's got that peat smokiness, and I've kind
Right.
of moved to where I used to be with my Dalwhinnies and my Balvenies and my kind of Speyside malts that are quite light. Over the years, I've kind of began to, try various other malt whiskies, and the
Yeah.
I just prefer a peaty malt for some reason. I've really started to enjoy those. I
You and I
love
must
a
have
smokehead, you know.
you and I must have passed each other on the road somewhere, because I'm going in another direction. I used to like the Lafroigs and all these really, really strong, peaty, medicinal
Yep.
whiskies, and I've kind of moved away from them now. I'm preferring now something a bit more subtle.
Maybe an age thing, Clark.
It could be. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You got to that age before me.
Well, maybe just a wee bit
Unless it's a
behind you.
youthful thing you're talking about.
Oh no, I like Clark. I like that. This is. I prefer this one, pal.
Well, there you go. I like it as well, but I prefer the subtleness and the floweriness of the first one. But there's nothing.
Yep.
That is a nice dram.
Okay, so here we go. This is where we're going to work out our scores on this.
Yeah, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So what I'm going to do then.
Again, these are two value for money drams, Clark, that you can go into any
Absolutely.
Tesco's, Sainsbury's, Waitrose, or wherever you want to go. There are other outlets available, but
Yep.
this is a dram that you can go and pick up at a reasonable price and enjoy. And whether you like the subtleness that you like, or whether you like a smoky dram like I like, you can have that. You could probably buy the two bottles for the price that you pay for one bottle of some other brands.
You probably could, eh? Aye, you
So
probably could.
anyway, right. Since you liked the Land and Sea, I'm going to let you go first with your score. You went with the Land one.
Yeah.
I like the Sea one.
Aye. Well, I scored them. I scored them a 20 each, which was so I'm now at 80. So that's an 8 out of 10.
So that was for the
But
Land.
the sea cask. The sea cask.
The Sea Cask, the first one you scored 80.
I have done.
And I've scored the 80 also.
There you go. Yeah.
So
I think
on the
that's
Sea Cask that we've just had,
the land cask we've just had.
yeah, on the Landy Cask, I've scored at 92.
Oh, yeah, that's really. Oh, you did like it.
I love this. I love this.
Right, I scored it down a point. I made it 79 because I didn't like it quite as much as other ones. I couldn't score it the same, so I've scored it down a point on the overall impression of the whiskey. So I'm giving it a 79.
No,
but
I like
it
that,
is a lovely.
and I think the reason I like it is because of its peatiness.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I love that peaty smokiness. It reminds me of a Ben Romach, but a very, very light, maybe pale imitation of a Ben Romach. Ben Romach, I think's got a lot more in it, a lot more complexity in it than there is in this one. So that's maybe why I would put the Ben Romach up there. But again, I've scored some Ben Romachs at 92s and 94s in the past, so it's up there with them. So I like that Land cask. That Land one is lovely. And the more that it gets more floral now that I've actually had, I've tasted it and I'm nosing it now. I'm thinking I can get that more floral note to it. Still that peaty, but there's a more sweet, vibrant zestiness in it that I'm getting.
No, it still smells like camping to me. It still smells like a bonfire.
Anyway,
Rubber
it does smell like a bonfire, very much so. Anyway, that's our little time in the tasting bothy this evening again, Clark. Two lovely drams, thanks very much. We've got a couple of drams I've sent up to you in the last wee while. I've had a Tam Du. I bought a Tam Du the other day. Yes, well, after tasting one the other evening there at a friend's, I came away from there thinking I actually need to have one of them in my collection. I've not got one of them. I need to go and get some like that. So um, we'll have a look at that. We'll need to find out if you've got a Tamdu there, a 10-year-old, and if you've got one, we'll just open it. If you've no,
I thought I had, but I maybe don't. I may be confusing it with other
well, we'll
similar
just have to
sounding things.
pour one into a wee glass for you and send it up the road so that we can do this together.
I'm sure I've had a bottle. I'm sure I've had a bottle of Tamdu, but I don't think I've still got it. I think it's maybe been polished off.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I'll be happy to provide you with a sample.
And I'll be
Well,
more than
for the
happy
bottle.
to receive it from you.
Yep, we'll do that. But anyway, we'll say good evening and good night to all those who will view this later on and give us a feedback on what they think Aerstone if they've had it. And until then, we'll see them some other night in the tasting bothy.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.